Chapter 4. I testify for the little girl who taped up torn letters, love letters, like chicken men broken people with scotch tape and scraped knees, for the child who knew too much and felt too deep, who was passed around like silence in a room full of secrets, touched when she should have been treasured, watched when she should have been protected. I testify for the scapegoat prophet, the misdiagnosed mystic, the institution survivor who screamed in psych wards not because she was crazy, but because no one would listen. I testify for the sacred rebel undercover who smoked crack with angels watching with wings, whose were clipped but never destroyed, who learned to speak fluently in the language of rock bottom and still found her way back to heaven through hell's hallway. I speak now with the voice they tried to steal and the strength they tried to shame. This is not a sob story. This is a soul contract being fulfilled. This is divine justice unfolding in the form of a woman who remembers. They thought I was a glitch. They didn't know I was the code. I'm the karmic correction, the medicine wrapped in mystery, the one that they whispered about but could never define. I'm the daughter of contradiction, an angel who walked into the fire, a priestess who kissed the pavement, a prophet with a record and a rap sheet of resurrection. They call me unstable, they call me wild, they call me everything but accurate, and now they call me back. But it's too late to rewrite my name. I belong to the light that dances in shadow. I serve a God who sends his fiercest soldiers into the darkest war zones, and I volunteered. I came to Earth to remember what was done to me, to burn false systems down, and to build bridges with ashes. This pain, it is and was initiation. This madness, it was alchemy. This love, it's unconditional, and this life, it's mine now. So don't mistake my softness for weakness or my scars for shame. And now I've got thunder in my chest and justice in my bones, and I promise you this, every soul they tried to silence now sings through me. Every chain that they tried to lock now rings as I dance. Every lie they fed me now fuels the truth, my truth. I'm here, I'm whole, I'm holy, and I remember. I'm the witness, the warrior, the walking, breathing, holy disruption of generational abuse. I'm the justice they tried to bury. Chapter 5. They say silent, they said. They said, be quiet, don't talk about it, don't cause problems, and don't make waves. But I was the wave already crashing through a bloodline that had swallowed its shame for centuries. I was 3 when I was strapped in a basement by a man who was supposed to be my mom's boyfriend, but instead became another monster with porn on the screen and power in his hands. As a child, he thought no one would believe. He was right. They didn't believe me. They never did. I told, I screamed, I cried. They looked away again and again and again and again and again and again and again. They told me he died. Maybe he did. They all die, right? Maybe the world devours its own filth eventually, but the ghost stayed with me. Luther, Eddie, Josh, Stephen. The list goes on. Uncles, boyfriends, strangers, babysitters. List goes on. Names stacked like tombstones. But this chapter is a turning point, the long-awaited bloom from the soil of survival. Been through the fire, and now this is where I begin to shine. This is the story of becoming, not despite the pain, but because of the wisdom born through it. Chapter 6. Becoming the love I was searching for. I used to think love would save me. If I could just find someone who saw me, someone who chose me, someone who didn't leave or lie or make me the problem for feeling too much, and maybe I'd finally be whole. So I searched for love like it was oxygen, and I was always underwater. I gave my body to people who only touched the surface, and I gave my time to people who couldn't even give me honesty. I gave my heart to hands that didn't know how to hold it, and I thought if I loved them enough, they'd become what I needed. Spoiler. They didn't. But they did become something else. Teachers. Each relationship taught me what I was still believing about myself. I believed I was too much, so I settled for those who kept me small, and I believed I wasn't worthy, so I chose partners who confirmed it. I believed love had to be painful to be real, so I bled for it again and again. And again and again and again and again. But somewhere in the wreckage I got tired. Not just like tired like I need sleep, like tired like my soul said, enough. And I began to do the unthinkable. I chose myself. Not in a soft spa day kind of way, but in a warrior, sacred, blood on the battleground kind of way. I went into isolation, not because I hated the world, but because I needed to finally sit with me. I stopped looking for mirrors in others and started polishing my own. I learned to eat alone, walk alone, cry alone, heal alone. I realized I was never alone to begin with. God was there in the silence, in the chaos, in the mirror, in me. I found freedom in the places I once feared, and I found clarity in the quiet. I found power in every part of me they once told me to hide. I no longer needed to be chosen, I chose myself. I no longer needed their love, I became it. From that place, the rise began. Not a loud, flashy kind of rise, not the kind you post about, but the kind where you breathe differently, walk differently, trust your intuition, honor your boundaries, and turn away from what drains you without guilt, without shame. That's the real kind of glow up, peace, clarity, alignment, and knowing that you don't have to chase anything when you finally become home to yourself. Chapter 7. Priestess of the pathless path. The world tried to tell me who I was, a patient, a problem, a sinner, a statistic, but my soul always knew better. It remembered. It remembered the temples, the altars, the missions, the lifetime spent walking beside the wounded, guiding them home without needing to be seen. I didn't become a priestess. I remembered I already was one. It happened slowly and all at once, not in a church, but in the silence between heartbreaks, not in a ceremony, but in the grocery store line when I chose to be kind instead of bitter. Not with incense and crystals, though I love both, but in my bones, when I started walking with reverence through the ordinary. That's when the codes came back. The soul activator codes, the wild oracle ones, the medicine woman in muddy boots, talking to animals and plants and strangers who cry when they meet me because something ancient in them remembers too. Then I realized I didn't need permission anymore, not from religion, family, not from the systems designed to suppress my sacred truth, that's for sure. I was the permission. My pain became the portal. My voice became the wand, and my intuition, once called me crazy, became my compass. My body, once silenced, became my altar. I started showing up in service, not as someone who had it all together, but as someone who had been to the bottom and came back with blueprints. I began walking beside others, not saving, not fixing, just holding up the mirror and saying, see, you're not broken, you're becoming. I called in soul clients, not customers. I gave energy readings, psychic insights, hands-on healing, channeled messages from guides I didn't know. I knew until they started speaking through me again. The priestess returned, the wild one, the sacred fool, the lion-hearted mystic with dirt under her fingernails, and God in her grin. I began creating space for others to awaken, not through pressure, but by presence, by being real, authentic, by sharing raw and holy truth, by saying, I've been where you are, and I didn't come to shame you. I came to walk with you until you remember your own name. This is my service. This is my revolution, and this is my legacy. Not fame, not followers, but freedom. And if I had to burn down every illusion and rewrite every lie to get there, so be it, because I came to activate and to embody and to remind the world that healing is real. You are magic. God lives in you, and your past does not disqualify you. It prepares you. Chapter 8. The mission was always inside of me. Before I even had words for it, I knew I came here for a mission, not a job, not a title, not a role to perform, but a soul assignment, a sacred disruption, a holy rebellion, a divine detour into the fire so that I could carry back the flames. I was never meant to follow their rules. I came to rewrite them, to gather the lost, the labeled, the left behind, and show them that they were never broken, just misnamed. My mission is the marrow of me, to wake up the warriors who forgot they were chosen, to hold space for the alchemists still sitting in their ashes, and to speak truth into systems that profit from pain. And I stand barefoot on the ruins, saying, this ends with me, and my voice is my offering, my body is my compass, my pain became my priesthood, and my presence, raw, real, radiant, that's the portal. I didn't go through hell for a survival badge. I went through to become a key, and a key that unlocks the sacred within others. This mission isn't about being liked. It's about being lit with remembrance, lit with integrity, lit with spirit-free fire. So undeniable, even the darkest room begins to glow. And so I say, I serve those who suffer, I guide those who grieve, and I awaken those who forgot how much power lives inside them. I don't need a stage. Give me a circle in the woods, a woman with tear-stained cheeks, and a man too afraid to pray out loud. That's where I'm called, and that's where I serve. Because this is my mission, to be the love I never received, to be the guide I once prayed for, to be the change that outlives the chains. Chapter 9. The blueprint for a new world. Now I rise, not just as one who remembers, but one who builds. I'm here to co-create a new paradigm, a world that where healing is accessible, authenticity is currency, and love is the law of the land. This isn't some fantasy, it's a blueprint. The platform I'm building isn't just digital, it's dimensional. It's a sanctuary for the misfits and the mystics, a lighthouse for the lost and longing, and a portal for the prophets and pathwalkers who were never meant to fit in. We aren't fixing them, we're reminding them. We're returning them to their own knowing. We're planting seeds of truth in the soil of lived experience. We are the ones who came back for others. My platform may be called many things, a temple, a movement, a revolution, but at its core it's this, a return to soul. A home for the ones who never had one, a bridge between the pain and purpose, I don't need to convince the world. I just need to become the frequency of what I'm building, and that's what I'm doing every day, every post, every offering, every breath, because my mission isn't separate from me. It is me. By divine design, not through control, but through conscious liberation. And this time, we rise together.